There are so many people I know who've told me that if you have any skin worries, if you can trust somebody, is Dr. Jayashree.
Oh, thank you so much.
What's your take on Ozempic and what are the worst things for your skin to do or to consume? These black patches, pigmentation, and dark circles is a
circles.
very Indian woman problem. How do we help ourselves?
Oh, you're taking 5? Okay, start taking 10 now. No, you can't do that.
Okay, I want to talk about a couple of famous people. Please tell me what they've done. The aging
Quicker.
process becomes much quicker after 45.
45.
So we better figure
Yes.
it all out before that.
You can age gracefully and youthfully.
I feel like this has been a masterclass. Hi guys, so welcome to which is going to be a very educational and important episode, at least for me, all my friends and my mom and everybody I know. Because skincare and looking good and aging well is such a big part of our lives and our goals. I can speak for myself, it is for sure. And dermatology and looking good in general is like one of the biggest industries, and anybody who caters to that is doing really well right now, as they should. So I have an expert, somebody who everyone has told me that is the it person to go to when it comes to skin in India and especially in Bombay. So Dr. Jayashree, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Parnia.
There are so many people I know who've told me that if you have any skin worries, any skin issues, you want to look good, you want to look younger, if you can trust somebody, is Dr. Jayashree.
Oh, thank you so much. That
Yeah.
really means a lot.
That's a reputation you have in Bombay, for sure. Apparently, it's really hard to get an appointment. Every actor you see that looks really beautiful has been to her at some point for a little touch up here and there to look good. How busy are you, truly? Is it really hectic? Because you're in Bombay, a city where looking good is like really on a priority list for most people for their livelihood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely, yeah. Very hectic, but very happy to be busy. Been practicing for over 25. This is my 26th year of
Oh,
practice
wow.
now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's not just work in terms of seeing patients that I do. I also am on the international board of the American Society of Dermatologic Surgery. I'm their mentor.
Wow.
I have been on several other European boards, and currently I'm the associate editor of a very renowned journal called Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology. So that and lecturing and traveling around the world, teaching people, teaching dermatologists, anti-aging treatments, fillers, Botox, all of that. So everything put together keeps me very, very busy.
Yeah.
But I'm very grateful to God for that.
And you still look good doing it.
Thank
so
you.
Basically, the business of looking good is like one of the biggest luxuries.
Yeah.
And the reason is because people are willing to spend anything on it. If you have a certain lifestyle, then you are willing to spend anything on making sure you age well and look good, right? Like, do you see that in your clients that it's literally their number one priority?
Yeah, humongously. Earlier, when I had started back in 2000, people would come for acne and eczemas and psoriasis and all of that. Now, it's absolutely no skin issues. They just want clear skin, radiant skin, and they want to look good and feel confident about themselves. So yeah, this is a huge, huge shift.
Because looking good equates to feeling good, right?
Yeah.
And the idea is to feel good, right?
Absolutely.
For sure, about yourself.
Yeah.
Another thing I've noticed with your patients, I guess I cannot name them because a lot of them are famous. Everyone just says they look good. But nobody says that so-and-so has gotten this work done, that work done. So it's very natural. Everyone tells me that Dr. Jayashree has a very light hand.
Oh my God.
So whatever you do it, but it's very natural. There are many other doctors who don't do a very natural job of, say, Botox, fillers, whatever else they're doing, which is anti-aging. Is it greed that other doctors just go overboard and they don't tell their patients that, listen, you don't need like the 10th lip filler? Or is it a certain aesthetic they're going for, which has become very popular maybe after the Kardashians or after pop culture has made certain features and certain things popular? Like, what is it?
The former maybe just a 5% or a 10%.
Okay.
But the latter is true because the aesthetic sense comes from all these ideals that people have, as you mentioned,
pop culture.
Kardashians and pop culture.
Yeah.
And people want to look like them. So that's one thing. The second is when these people who introduce fillers and manufacture fillers and Botox and all of that, they bring in international doctors to teach.
Right.
And they teach you a certain math, the phi ratio, the golden ratio, the marked mask, and all of that. So, you need O1 of filler here, ML filler here, and you need this much here and this much. So you try to recreate that in every face. And so everybody looks the same because you have calipers, you have measurements, you have all that. Wherein, what you're not understanding is that every individual is different.
Yeah.
They look different, their features are different, their bone structure is different. So you just have to enhance that rather than just do math and try to make everybody look like somebody else. So it's the teaching, it's the aesthetic sense, and somewhere the amalgamation between science and aesthetics and art is missing. It's more like sculpting the face, and you have to have that eye
Right.
and tweak it a wee bit to just enhance the original features and keep that originality, that individuality.
Yeah.
That is what people are probably not understanding. And so if an ex person from Brazil comes and tells you that I think you need to do 12 syringes or chin height should be this much, the nose should be from this point to this point. So
But according to who?
math, you know?
What is their standard that they're following? Like which face, like what is the standard that these equations are following?
There is a lot of science behind that. So there
Right.
is a lot of art, like from the biggest sculptors. So they try to combine all of that and put it into one and say, okay, maybe this is how a Nefertiti, like for example, the Greek
Right.
goddess, she is one of those
Revered
ideal,
faces,
revered
yeah.
faces. So what is her math like? Or what is the math of all the paintings that a Da Vinci has made? So then it's a phi ratio, 1:1.6. Everything has to be that equation.
Is it that
know?
the human eye loves symmetry?
Absolutely.
And they figured out a ratio where like your face is as symmetrical as possible and they're trying to apply that to everybody?
Absolutely, that's what they're trying to do. But I'll tell you something, if you try to make one half of the face symmetrical,
Right.
it really doesn't look that attractive.
Right.
There was a study where they did a couple of beautiful faces, well-known faces, and they said, let's just map it and do, a symmetrical face. And they really look ghastly.
Right.
Lips they should always be symmetrical, but the face, and even if you look at yourself in the mirror very carefully, you'll say, oh, one side of my face is not the same as the other.
Right.
There's a little bit of a difference, and
Right.
that should be there.
Right.
People should understand.
Because that makes you look human,
That
right?
makes you look
and not
human.
like a robot.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
there are these little things that people need to understand.
Yeah. I think a really good doctor is someone who makes you look like the best version of yourself, as opposed to making you look like a cookie cutter of someone else or some other standard that, have clients come to you with a photo of, say,
Oh.
Kim Kardashian or Aishwarya Rai and being like, this is what we need to achieve. Has that happened?
All
the time?
The youngsters especially would want Bella Hadid or Kardashian or Kylie Jenner, and there are a number of others. I don't even know their names, but yes.
And then
that's
what do you
they
say when you
want.
see the photo?
I mean, I do tell them exactly what you said, that these are not the features that you have. A, we don't know about the filters that they've used. B,
That's true.
we don't know what kind of makeup and contouring that has gone there.
Yeah.
And finally, your face is an individual face. Of course, maybe you go under the knife and this and that and do stuff to look like somebody else. But otherwise, you're unique,
Right.
right? And that uniqueness has to be, you can't change
So
that.
these are like 20-year-old girls who are coming? So you're like half counselor, half doctor, because you're like, they're young, right? And they're
I'm
impressionable.
70% counselor, I'm 30% doctor.
That's crazy. But this is something I have seen as a shift in our generations. Like, so in my generation, I would say the millennials, right? We never got work done in our 20s or in our teens. It was not a thing, at least for Indians. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but I know me, my friends, people I knew, no, it wasn't a thing that you got work done in your 20s. You kind of just lived with whatever face you had. Also, we were so busy like partying and doing our own thing and being kids, and social media was not such a big thing that we didn't feel this pressure. Let's put it that way, right? But as we went into our 30s and 40s, now some people who've turned 40 have started doing work, which I find that's what millennials do. But Gen Z and younger generations are starting to get their surgeries and doing Botox and fillers in their late teens and 20s.
Yeah.
That's a trend that started.
That's the trend.
Is that a good thing?
I'm a big believer that it's not.
Right.
There are people who believe that no, if you start early, you can delay the process of aging. And I say, what is it that you start early? A
Right.
good diet,
Yeah.
Your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you just said you're partying, but that's lifestyle.
Yeah.
Things like alcohol, shisha, vape, juul, smoking, any form of nicotine breaks your collagen down at a more early age. So there's
Okay.
premature aging. A good skincare,
Right.
It doesn't have to be an elaborate skincare.
But a
Like a
decent-
basic
yeah.
moisturizer, sunscreen, maybe some serum that your skin requires.
Yeah.
Do all of that. And then maybe when you're in your late 30s, cross 35, that's when you start tweaking a little bit.
Okay.
Like some radio frequency or a high intensity focused ultrasound or a little skin booster or a PRP, but that's when you start. I'm not a believer of, start doing Botox and fillers in your teens and your 20s. Certainly not.
So you would say for anti-aging, the best time to start is mid-30s?
Yes.
To start treatments, like serious treatments like Botox and fillers?
Yeah, mid-30s.
Okay, mid-30s. Until then, just try and have a good lifestyle?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, which is like so not happening now. So what do you do when these 20-year-olds come to you and say that we want you because you are the best and we need you to give us certain fillers and certain Botox? Some of it is not even anti-aging. Some of it is to change the features a little bit. They're not happy with their lips or whatever. So what do you say to 20-year-olds, or do you do it?
So in some of them, if they have extremely thin lips,
Yeah.
and if it's constantly nagging and bringing down their confidence, and I would do it, but I would call their parents.
Right.
I would speak to them and I would say, listen, this is what it is. Tell me.
Yeah.
If the parents have agreed and the girl has agreed, and sometimes even boys, then we do it. But that is only if anatomically they have an asymmetric lip or really hollow under eyes or something that's really bothering them, where they feel, oh, let's go under the knife. So to save them from that, I'll say, okay, let's do this.
Right.
Back in the day, I would put my foot down and say, hey, no, I'm not going to do this.
Right.
But they would go down to XYZ and then come back botched.
Yeah, because fixing something which is ruined is much harder than working on a fresh face.
It's tough because they're also traumatized mentally,
Yeah.
because something has gone wrong and they went, nobody's diseased here.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
doctors, but we're not treating a disease. Like it's not a
This is,
a
it's
psoriasis.
cosmetic. It's cosmetic. Yeah.
So imagine the trauma that the person goes through where somebody is absolutely fine and then something has gone dramatically wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have to deal with that and then you have to correct the whole thing. And then it's not easy. It takes a couple of months. I'd rather just say, okay, let me tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of counseling goes into it, to make sure that we don't cross the line, to make sure that they do not become obsessive about every little
Is it
feature on their
addictive?
face. Sometimes
Once you
it is.
start, is it addictive? Like getting a tattoo, then you keep just getting more and
Yeah,
more?
yeah.
Is it like a thing?
I think it is in a whole lot of people, it does get addictive, but it's for the doctor to draw the line and to actually counsel the patient,
Yeah.
to make them understand that, hey, less is more,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay, I want to talk about a couple of famous people who the whole internet has been obsessing over,
Okay.
non-Indian. Please tell me what they've done, okay? Because it looks like they keep saying that we just slept more, or like they say ridiculous things like I've started taking more vitamins, which is obviously not true because we all do it and we don't look like this, So first is Anne Hathaway. Have you seen her recently?
I have.
Oh my God, like all of a sudden, it's just this like freshness on her face and she just looks incredible. To me, it looks, I'm not an expert by any means, but to me, it looks like a half facelift or
Yeah.
something. What has she done?
I think a mini facelift is what she's done. But they also work on their skin texture. So
Right.
some skin boosters, some laser resurfacing, and probably a mini facelift.
What's the difference between a mini facelift and a full facelift?
So when they pull the entire structure up,
Right.
and then sort of tighten the face,
Right.
that's a full proper face.
That's like what a Kris
know?
Jenner has had.
Yes,
She's
that's
in her
right.
60s and 70s. So she probably,
She's
because she
done
looks like super youthful again
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And a mini is when they just do a little tuck. There's something called the smas. So you lift that and you just tuck it behind.
Is that a ponytail facelift?
There's a ponytail lift, which is,
that what it's
also very,
called?
very popular.
That's like a mini
Yeah,
facelift?
that's a mini facelift.
What
yes.
about Lindsay Lohan? Same thing?
Similar?
Similar. And these women are in their 40s.
Yeah.
So is your 40s a good time to do a mini facelift or a ponytail facelift, just a little bit up?
I think late 40s, yes.
Late 40s is
Yes.
the right time?
Yes.
Before it gets really bad?
Before it gets bad.
But even Brad Pitt, have you noticed him?
That's a full facelift.
He
That's
really
full.
just
Yeah.
that's a full facelift.
That's a proper full facelift.
And when's a good time to do a proper full facelift? Like 50s?
I
or
think
60s?
late 50s, early 60s is a good time. Having said that, if you start taking care of yourself well in advance, like look at you, look gorgeous. I don't
It's
know.
a
your
lot
age,
of makeup, but yeah, thank
but
you.
when I say start early, I don't mean doing treatments. I'm saying the holistic skincare.
Right.
And then some little tweaking here and there
Yeah.
from the age of 35, PRPs and boosters and all of that. You probably don't get to that stage too soon.
Right.
where you have to do a full facelift.
Right. True.
So that's the thing that now, we have that advantage of. Back in the day, they did.
I want to know, before you get into Botox and fillers and then eventually facelifts, you just mentioned PRP a few times. What are the one or two treatments that are not invasive, that are really good, that can be step one for skincare, or like skin rejuvenation or whatever?
Chemical peels.
A chemical peel?
The simplest, the best.
Right.
Don't go
There's
harsh.
downtime, right? Because your entire face
So-
becomes red or something, right?
If you're doing a deep peel, a
Yeah.
deep chemical peel, which I will not recommend for Indians.
Right.
The reason why I'm talking about it is because it went viral on social media, where somebody was doing phenol peels and there was like a 360 difference in the face. So we can't do that in Indian skin. We tend to hyperpigment.
So what kind of
So
peels can
we'll
we
have
do?
to do some very light, mild, medium depth peels, like a glycolic acid 20% or a 35%. Do not do it at home. Glycolic acid is actually a sugarcane extract. So
It's natural?
it's natural.
Okay.
So, and it really has very good properties. It's got anti-aging properties and reduces fine lines and dilated pores and all of that, and evens out the skin tone. So that's something that you can do maybe once in a month or once in 2 months.
Yeah.
The least invasive. Then you can go ahead and do microneedling. Do not do derma roller at home. When I say microneedling, it's a device. Again, get it done at a proper clinic. And that you can do with a PRP, or these days we add exosomes, we add polydeoxyribonucleic acid, which is the salmon sperm DNA, which is getting very
That's
popular.
very popular.
which
So
is
that
very
really
popular.
works?
So it does help with the skin tone,
Okay.
and it has not got FDA clearance as of now. So we do not inject it all over. We just sort of do a microneedling and pour the PDRN, which is the salmon sperm DNA, and allow it to penetrate into the deeper layers of the skin and then do its magic. So that is one thing. The other is exosomes. Exosomes are like these, again, liquid obtained from either plants or from umbilical cord. Now, when you get it from human umbilical cord, again, it's not FDA approved yet.
Which humans are you getting
which
it
humans
from?
are getting
No,
from.
do you use your own?
No,
or
no,
like
no.
how does this work?
So it comes from various manufacturers in Europe and in South Korea.
But are we
and
sure
all
this is
these
ethical?
places. So the science and the research that they have come out with shows that it is ethical, but the rules and the guidelines are still not there.
Okay.
So again, do not inject as long as you're just pouring it. We're seeing some good results. Safest would be your PRP and PRF.
PRP, exactly. Please explain to me. I think I know what it is, because I did it on my ankle because I had a weak ankle. Someone suggested it. They extract blood
Yes,
and then they put it in a machine,
yes,
and something happens with that machine, and then they inject it back into the troubled area, right?
absolutely, yes.
And what does that do?
PRP is platelet-rich plasma.
Okay.
Now that has a bunch of growth factors,
Okay.
various types of growth factors, which when you inject into the skin or the hair, will stimulate those particular stem cells. And so it could improve your texture, your tone, it could help with hair density.
Any kind of regrowth, it helps.
Any kind of regrowth. Now, if if you don't have a good lifestyle, there's a possibility that you don't have good growth factors.
Oh, so it won't help
So
anyway.
then
if
it
you
may
don't-
not help.
Okay.
So usually we cheat. We ask patients to stop, alcohol and smoking and all of that, at least for a week. Any form of sugar, even jaggery and dates and honey and all
Right.
of that. All of that will increase the IGF-1 and also the process of glycation, which is the breakdown of collagen. So stop all of that for about a week, and that's how you cheat and try to get more growth factors. Take iron supplements, take some vitamins, and then after a week you do the PRP. That's the best way to do it. People
Okay.
don't do it most of the time, they just do it.
Yeah.
But if you want the best results, that's how you should do it.
What are the worst things for your skin to do or to consume? You said sugar is one of them.
Of course.
Yeah, but it's just
I think
like,
number
so
one,
hard.
but these days you get some good sugar-free stuff.
But you just said we shouldn't
monk-
even do jaggery or
Yeah, but monk fruit, I think, has been seen to be safer.
monk fruit, sugar. Okay.
So that's okay. A little bit of coconut sugar is okay.
Yeah, but otherwise sugar is really bad for your skin.
Otherwise, sugar is
And
bad for
aging.
your skin. Of course, for acne and for aging both. I mean, you can do a cheat diet once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say have a dessert every day. The number one is nicotine.
That's the worst thing
That's
for
the
your
worst.
skin.
Yeah. I mean, you can still do the others a little bit. You can cheat.
Yeah.
But the number one, which really breaks down your collagen and elastin fibers is nicotine. And then people come and say, oh no, but we just Juul or we do vape and all, but it's all the same. Somebody came and said, can I do shisha? And I said, well, it's just the same.
Any kind of
Right.
smoking basically
Yeah.
is really bad for
So
you.
that's the
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
And then sugar, of course. Your sleep cycle is very important because that's when when you're sleeping, your growth hormones and melatonin, all the positive hormones are releasing, and your body, not just your body, but your skin, your hair, everything is healing.
Right.
And that's when your cortisol is coming down. So that's very important. We don't realize sometimes we are sleeping at 2, waking up at 2 the next day. That's not how it should be.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, you should do that every day.
So
Because
consistency is
consistency
key.
is very important. You have to follow the circadian rhythm. Back in the day, circadian rhythm meant put all your hormones in place. You must sleep about 4 hours after sunset in our country.
Right.
So it varies everywhere. Now, that's not practical.
Right.
So we say at least try and sleep before midnight.
Early, basically.
Maybe one cheat day in a week is all right, but before midnight. And then be consistent. And that's when your hormones will fall in place.
Right. And good hormones mean good, skin.
hormones, yes.
Right.
Another thing we do not realize that all of us have is stress.
No, but like,
Right?
how is this?
All of us
If
have
you're a
stress, yes.
parent or
Yeah.
if you have a certain kind of job, it's not possible. It's so
It's not.
hard not to stress.
But there are ways out.
Yeah.
So that's why I said all of us have stress. And
Yeah.
when you stress, your cortisol goes up, the bad hormones go up. And the first thing is your skin and your hair. So you shed hair.
Yeah.
You know.
Tell me about it. I have been a victim of this for the last year of hair falling. Yeah.
So that's the first thing that happens. And then you have pigmentation, you have dark circles.
Oh
You have,
my God.
your breakdown of collagen and all. What do? Some form of mechanism to cope with stress. Give yourself some me time, some self-love. I don't know if I should say meditation, but that's the best form. And a lot of people can't meditate. So then maybe journaling,
Yeah.
maybe developing a good hobby, you
Yeah.
know, painting, singing, Zumba, dance, whatever it is. How many of us are taking that 1 hour out throughout the day? We're constantly running. Somewhere we need to slow down or at least take out an hour and give that to ourselves.
Yeah.
I think that is important. And being a dermatologist, I will say that skincare is self-love. I don't know, men will laugh at me, but just try applying a sunscreen on your face every morning.
Some are still the ones who are using like shampoo on their face and all. Like some of those are still left, but I feel like men are also like getting
They
more
are getting there.
conscious.
Yes,
yeah.
they are.
Everyone wants to look good, right, and feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about alcohol? I'm sure that's very bad for your skin, right?
Of course it is, because it dehydrates your skin.
Right.
But if you ask me to compare with sugar and with smoking, with nicotine, I would still say, okay, fine, but not the sugary alcohols. Look, I don't drink, so I can't differentiate between which is the one which has more sugar and which doesn't. But avoid the sugary ones.
That's
for
usually
sure.
cocktails. Yeah. So avoid cocktails.
So those
yeah.
you should avoid. You should avoid the others as well. But
Having
on
sugar and
occasion-
nicotine is much worse.
Worse.
So that's something we should know. I mean, I should know, sugar addict for sure. I
Wow,
need to make a
doesn't show.
note.
You've also got good genes.
Yeah,
And
not
maybe
yeah.
you're also
But,
taking care of yourself.
yeah, I try.
So somewhere then you should balance.
Yeah. Instead of cheat life, I need to start having cheat days.
Yeah,
and
you
that's
can have
what,
cheat days.
That's what
See,
is
we all
good.
need to know that after the age of 25, per year you're losing 1% collagen.
Oh God.
And after the age of 45, it's doubling up or even becoming 4 times more.
The aging
Quicker.
process becomes much quicker after 45.
After 45.
So we better figure
Yes.
it all out before
Before that.
If you don't do it till then it's really hard to fix it
Yes.
after, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when we talk of skin aging or facial aging, it's not just the skin.
Yeah.
You know, the face has 5 layers.
Right.
Right? You have bone. There are actually many layers. You have 10 layers here, you have 7 layers here, but overall on an average it's 5 layers. You have bone, and then you have deep fat, then you have muscle, then you have fat again, and then you have skin. And all of that is sort of withering and shrinking with age. Even the bone also tends to chip and resorb.
Yeah.
So, which is why you have deep sockets. The nose tends to sort of droop a little bit because that particular bone there is going off. The upper lip becomes thinner. Your chin starts to protrude.
Yeah, your face
You know?
actually changes as you age.
Yeah.
You're like,
you develop those jowls because this support is going, this mandible here, and
Right.
it's chipping off, and the fat there is going off, and then the skin which is there, it doesn't have support. So everything's sort of coming down. You know, so it's like a building which you need to maintain,
right.
and then
Crumbles.
you can't say, oh, I'm I'm going to do something at the age of 55. By then, the building
It's
is
too
all
late.
collapsed.
There's still some of those critics who are like, you should age gracefully and there's no need to do any of this work. And there's certain actors like a Kate Winslet, right? Who's publicly said she's not going to touch her face, like do any fillers, Botox, anything anti-aging. So what do you say to those people who are like critics and say that, all of this is not aging gracefully?
I think you can age gracefully and youthfully.
Exactly.
You
Like
know?
both is possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I just turned 52.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I believe that that's the way forward. And if you can look a certain way and feel good about yourself and feel confident, then why not? Now, to each their own, with due respect to those who feel that, oh, I'm happy with my
Wrinkles
lines
or
and wrinkles.
whatever.
Yeah, that's great. But are you happy with a really haggard, dropping, sagging face? You can have your wrinkles, okay? Don't do Botox. Have your
Yeah.
wrinkles.
Yeah.
Botox is for wrinkles. So
Right.
don't do it. But you mentioned Kate Winslet. There are lasers, there is radio frequency, there's HIFU, there is microneedling radio frequency. There are all these
That
treatments
she can do other things.
that she's probably doing
Yeah. Yeah.
and not doing fillers and Botox. I agree. You do not have to do fillers and Botox.
At
Yeah.
the end of the day, if you
Yeah.
like never used Botox, like there's no award for that.
There's no award for
Yeah,
that.
you should just feel good and
Yeah.
whatever floats your boat. But the issue is when you criticize other people, right? That's the thing. As an Indian woman, we have certain issues that I feel like are specific to Indians. So I just want to ask, like, what do we do about those issues? Okay, like the most popular ones. What do Indians do about hair fall, especially in monsoon? Like, what do we do?
I think the first thing that you have to take care is your diet. And a lot of times we don't realize that our protein intake is not adequate. 1 gram per kilo body weight per day is something that you need, and especially during the monsoons, up your
So
proteins.
protein will
is
help,
keratin, right?
will help your hair not to
Will
fall.
help,
Oh,
yes.
I didn't know this. This is
Yeah.
the first time hearing
Yeah.
this.
And then there are a bunch of vitamin supplements that you can take during that period. So it's not just biotin. Now that's an overhyped vitamin.
Right.
But you have to do vitamin A and all the B, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, all of them. Vitamin D, very essential. Calcium, iron,
This
is
is all
selenium,
to prevent hair fall.
magnesium. Yeah. So one hair supplement, you have some amazing supplements now in the market. So any one of those supplements, if you think you're going to fall in that bracket where you're losing a lot of hair. Other thing you can do is, because the water sometimes is hard or there are a lot of chemicals in it, you can add a little alum to it, and that softens the water.
What's alum?
It's available as, the Hindi name is, I think, ala or fitkari or something.
Acha, it's
Yeah,
a natural,
Yeah.
something natural. But how do you
It's a
add it in
powder.
your tank? Like,
You
where do you
add
put
it
it?
to your bucket of water.
Bucket
so you
of
have to do
water
a
and
bucket
then you
bath.
use it.
Yeah,
ठीक है,
something
okay.
like that. I've known people who do Bisleri, but that's not practical.
Right.
So this will help actually. And then a good shampoo and conditioner, and avoid all the heat treatments as far as possible. Now, if you have to blow dry, also, from a distance of at least a foot, that you keep your blow dryer that far and then do it. Avoid ironing and tongs and all the time.
Yeah.
Unless you really have to do it, like if
Like
you
it's
have
for
to
a job.
shoot or for
if
a
it's-
job.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
protein-based hair masks.
Yeah, I
and
need to
hair
start wearing
serums,
those. They work?
They work. They
Okay.
help. They help. They
Okay.
really like tame your hair and reduce the frizz. So that's something you can
Is there
do.
anything
Avocado
natural,
and
I can put in my hair as a mask instead of buying something from the market?
I think people who don't mind the smell of the egg, egg is the best mask that you can use.
Oh,
You beat
with the yellow?
egg with the yellow, beat it nicely, apply it all over. You may stink for a while, but then you can just
Keep
shampoo
it for like an hour?
Keep it for at least 3 to 4 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's really good.
Yeah.
And then you can also add yogurt to it.
Okay.
So my mom used to do hibiscus leaves, the shoe flower.
And then she would
know?
make a mask out
So
of it.
make a mask out of the leaves and the flower itself, and make a paste out of it, and then add a little bit of
Dahi?
oil, a little bit of amla oil and all these other almond oil and all of that. Maybe a tablespoon of dahi to it, and then make a nice mask and apply it. That also helps. If you're not allergic to aloe vera, you can use aloe vera.
Acha.
So these are the natural ones which will
Okay.
help you.
So these black patches, pigmentation, and dark circles is a very Indian woman problem also. How do we help ourselves with these problems?
Dark circles is not just Indian women, even men.
Even Indian men.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, yes.
And it's a very, very common problem. It starts very early.
Right.
It starts even sometimes in your 20s.
Is it genetic?
It's a lot of times it's genetic.
Right.
So I would say 50% of the times it's genetic.
Okay.
But a big, huge problem in India, in the Indian women, in the towns, and the even in cities,
Yeah.
is anemia.
Okay.
So low hemoglobin is equal to dark circles.
Oh, so many of us don't even know this. I
Yeah.
should get mine checked. Yeah.
Please, yeah.
Okay.
So check your ferritin levels, check your hemoglobin levels, because that leads to dark circles. Pollution, allergies to dust, where you're constantly rubbing your eyes.
Yeah.
Allergies to makeup could be, just eye makeup, or it could be any makeup. Again, the more friction and the more rubbing you do, the more post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation you get, and that is dark circles. It's pigmentation. So that is also a very common reason. People who have asthma, now whether it's allergic asthma or regular genuine asthma,
Yeah.
both categories can develop dark circles. Nicotine, again, we come back to, if you're smoking, you're developing dark circles. So there are a bunch of things. If you have insulin resistance, if you have hypothyroidism, sometimes even PCOS, okay, with insulin resistance, you get these thick dark folds under the eye. They're like rugosities under the eye. And that's called acanthosis nigricans. That's a form of dark circles. So
Okay.
you have all these. You need to identify the cause.
Okay. So it could be
And
any of these
could be
causes,
any of these.
and then you
And
treat
then
that.
treat that.
Oh.
Along with that, then comes your holistic care, wherein you're sleeping well, you're trying to relax, you're trying to deal with your stress and
Yeah.
all of that,
Yeah.
And do not apply too many products under the eye. Do not forget to moisturize the eye. The skin under the eye is the thinnest.
Right.
So you need to moisturize it. And then a lot of times when people apply sunscreen, the eyes burn.
Right.
They come and complain. So maybe then you use a mineral sunscreen or a zinc oxide, just dab it under the eye, and then you can wear your dark glasses because that skin there needs sun protection as well.
Right.
So all these will help. Do you need an under eye serum? I would say if you can afford it, please go ahead and buy it, use it. Otherwise, whatever moisturizer, whatever cream you're applying on the face, just dab it under the eye.
Okay.
Do not rub. Whatever product you apply, dab under
Rubbing
the
makes
eye.
it worse, right?
Yes, friction will make it worse.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how you deal with dark circles.
What about
and then,
pigmentation that you get from like the sun or these sunspots and all?
Yeah.
So annoying.
because we do not understand the importance of a sunscreen.
Dr. Yashri, I put so much sunscreen all day. I'm applying sunscreen. I feel like sometimes, and I still get pigmentation.
But that's also hormonal.
It's hormonal?
It's also
Okay.
hormonal. Sun exposure, visible light exposure. Now, the sun has a spectrum of light. It has UVA, it has UVB, it has visible light, it has blue light, and it has infrared rays.
Okay.
And our sunscreens, for the longest, have only given us protection from UVA and UVB.
Right.
And we, for the longest, have run after SPF. SPF 30, SPF 50, SPF 100.
Right.
Sun protection factor is something that is protecting us from UVB. We need UVB protection, but we do not get skin cancer as often as a Caucasian. So we need more protection from UVA and visible light and blue light, which the old sunscreens were not doing.
So what do we use then?
So you have to look out for a sunscreen which has a PA.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I should make this note.
Yes.
PA.
So protection from UVA is PA factor. So it tells you like a double plus or a triple plus or a 4 plus. So if you're going to be outdoors, then you use something which is a 4 plus
Okay.
or at least a 3 plus for a daily,
Right.
routine. Also, if you are going to be exposed to a lot of blue light from the sun, which means you're indoors, but you have, windows.
Yeah.
70% of UVA also penetrates windows,
Okay.
glass. So that plus a lot of screen time, whether it's your cell phone or your laptop.
That might be my problem. Yeah.
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 And if you, a lot of times, the smartphones have a blue light filter, but it doesn't look nice. I mean, you
Yeah.
can change to a blue light filter, but your
Yeah.
screen doesn't look nice. If you're using that, great. But otherwise, a sunscreen which is a little tinted, because that has iron oxide in it. And iron oxide will protect you from blue light as well.
Okay.
Depending on your job, look out for a sunscreen which is protecting you from UVA, UVB. That means there's a PA plus, there's an SPF. A 30 to 50 SPF is enough. And look out for a tinted.
Tinted, which means it has a little bit of foundation.
Little
in
bit
it.
of foundation.
Okay.
in it.
That I
That'll help.
use. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
These days, you also have sunscreens which have vitamin C and hyaluronic acid, and those will also help if you have a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
So for men who would say, oh, we don't want a tinted because it looks like a foundation,
Yeah.
use something which has vitamin C and, or a hyaluronic acid and a vitamin E and those kind of, that they do have some antioxidants as well. as I said, it could be hormones, it could be sunlight. But a very common reason in Indians is the incense sticks and the camphor that we light and the dhoop that we light all the time.
Oh.
People
So
don't realize
agarbatti.
the agarbatti. You know, a lot of people are allergic to mustard oil and castor oil when you apply it, not when you take it.
Yeah.
Okay. Room diffusers. A lot of times that fragrance, if it is synthetic, that also leads to hyperpigmentation. There are some Ayurvedic, in the name of Ayurvedic, I will not blame Ayurveda, but the people who use a lot of bhasmas and these kind of powders, which have heavy metals in them, which cause hyperpigmentation on the entire face and neck. Then there's kumkum allergy, which is very common. And lastly, there's hair color allergy, PPD allergy,
Oh my
which is
God.
really, really very common. And last but not the least, friction. So every time you tie something around your head, or, you know, in ladies, in females who wear tight, strings
Yeah.
for their saris, there's
Yeah.
a band of
Yeah.
hyperpigmentation. So any form of friction will also cause hyperpigmentation. So there are
Yeah, but there's
know,
just
huge-
so
so
much
many-
to think about. That's
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah. You know, the do's and don'ts are as important as using a sunscreen or getting a laser done or a
Right.
peel done. Because for as long as you do the treatment, maybe your pigment will reduce. Probably it never goes, but it reduces. But if you follow the other things as well, you know, do not scrub too much, do not use the loofahs, and stay away from the agarbattis and the camphor and the
You can't use loofah also?
you know, you shouldn't be using loofah. You scrub, you activate a protein called amyloid, and you develop amyloidosis, which is a kind of hyperpigmentation on your arms.
God.
So you've got to be very, very gentle if you have to, but otherwise,
Yeah.
God's given us hands, fingers. There's
Yeah, so
use
any
that.
kind of friction is not good for your body or your skin. There's one more thing I did want to ask. Another issue that a lot of, I don't think it's an Indian problem only, but I see a lot with Indians, is the neck aging.
Yeah.
I think people take care of their faces, but you can tell their age from their neck. People can tell your age from your neck and your hands, actually.
Hands,
How do we
yes.
do the hands and the neck so that it matches our face and that doesn't that still looks youthful and fresh?
We need to understand that the neck is an extension of your face.
Yeah.
And so whatever product you're applying on your face, please just lather it on your neck as well.
Right.
That's rule number one. And then your posture is very important. So when
Really?
we're constantly looking at our laptops at a lower level, keep it at a level at an eye level where you can work this way. So it's actually called tech neck now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where you develop lines
Yeah.
very often, and you know the muscles, the trapezius muscle here starts to hurt,
Yeah.
and all of that. So we give Botox here, we give Botox here.
Oh.
We do Profilo, which is a skin booster injection.
Profilo is good for the neck?
Very good for the neck. But I would say that if you always make it a habit to use your products, your facial products on your neck, and to make it a habit to make sure you use a moisturizer over your hands and your arms and your
Every time you
forearms.
wash your hands, you should moisturize.
You must moisturize.
Right.
It may sound impractical, but it's not
I
if
do
you
it.
make it a habit.
Yeah.
For our Indian women who are constantly working in the kitchen, I tell them, before you cut your vegetables and whatever you do, apply ghee on your hands.
Ghee.
Yeah. So it sort of forms a nice barrier, and then you do your cutting, because a lot of these vegetables also are acidic. Tomatoes, onions, garlic, potatoes. So
They're not good
you do
for-
that. So
yeah.
there's acids. It's changing the pH of your skin. So you use ghee and then start your work. And immediately after your work, apply moisturizer. And some people may want to use oil. And if oil is a little messy, but it's okay. If you want to use coconut oil, almond oil, that's also good. But otherwise, just use a heavy ceramide-based moisturizer at bedtime and a lighter moisturizer during the day. That's very important.
Got it.
And then otherwise, then you come to us and we do treatments like boosters.
Because people don't realize hands and neck really can reveal a lot, which you think is only your face, but it's
There
not.
was a time when Madonna's hands were doing the rounds.
Yes,
And
yeah.
then of course now she's taken care of it.
You're right.
But you know, somebody of that stature and somebody who knows, and she's the icon.
and
of
she's done so
beauty
much work on her
so much,
face, but she neglected her
and
hands.
neglected her hands. So I think that's a point to ponder, and also feet.
Yeah.
You know,
Feet also,
feet
yes.
also,
yeah.
because they can be seen, and then
Same thing.
The same thing. They will wrinkle and crinkle, and there'll be laxity. So, and all you have to do is moisturize.
Okay, got it. So now I want to talk about some fads, and I want to know your opinion. First is these drips. Okay, now it's become like very trendy, and there are a lot of these I don't know if I can call them clinics, but businesses which provide you drips, cocktails.
Yeah.
So one drip is like a hangover drip. It'll have like vitamin C. So if you're hungover and dehydrated, you have that and you feel better the next day. Some have cocktails for anti-aging, hair loss. The most popular thing in these drips is
Yeah.
glutathione. And glutathione is something I have heard that a lot of Indian actresses use. And you can tell, like, when they started their career, they were a certain shade. And then over the years, they become like 5 shades lighter. I guess glutathione is what everyone says that they do a lot of. Is this true? And is this good for you? Is this okay to do?
If we talk of glutathione, it's there in our body and it's a very good antioxidant.
Okay.
And so how did they find out? They give it very routinely. They've been giving it for years together for liver disorders.
Okay.
The dosage is 600 to 1200 milligrams.
Right.
Right. A pure, authentic, medical grade glutathione. The side effect, they found that when some people were taking it consistently, they found that probably, they were looking brighter
And fairer.
and fairer.
Yeah.
And that's when they realized, and then when they gave it to everybody, they did a study, everybody was becoming fair.
Oh.
There's only a chunk of them. That means it's a kind of a side effect where it breaks the melanin
On some people.
on some people. So now what they started doing is, it's okay to take an IV drip of glutathione, which has 600 mg, 1200 mg, but I have seen packets with glutathione, alpha lipoic acid, collagen, this, that, the other, 5,000 milligrams of glutathione, 10,000 milligrams of glutathione. I don't know where this is coming from. And it is definitely not safe. When you're doing a glutathione, it has to be medical grade. It has to be FDA approved. If it's a vial more than 600 mg,
Don't
it's
take it.
not medical grade.
Even
Now,
if you take 600, how often can you take it?
depending on your weight and your lifestyle, you can do up to 2,400 at a time, but maybe once in a month.
Maximum.
That's what I would say. And that too, if your body needs it. If you are really abusing your body, if you're a smoker or you're drinking a lot and you have a
Traveling too
very
much
hectic
or whatever, yeah.
very, very hectic lifestyle and probably a lot of allergies and exposed to a lot of pollution, then your body needs it. The other thing we talked about is the other IV drip. Say you are deficient in a vitamin D
Right.
or iron or calcium, and you're taking that in the drip, that's okay. So you have to do your blood profile and check what you're deficient in.
Yeah, don't
And
take it
that.
blindly.
And don't take it blindly, because anything that you overdose is bad.
Right.
Even if you take a vitamin B or a vitamin A and you overdose, it's bad for your body.
Right. Is it better to
So-
just take them as pills
Why
as
not?
opposed to a drip?
Now, why not?
So like a drip
People-
is not bad, right?
So a drip is not bad. The only thing is people take drips because it's a quick fix.
Right.
And I think it's also now a fad.
Yeah, it is a fad.
It is
yeah.
a big fad. We've all grown up without drips.
Right.
And our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents.
No one took a
and
drip
no one took
for like
drips.
skincare. Yeah.
I'm not against them, but at the same time, if you can do without them, why not?
Yeah. But these actresses look like they're on it like every day.
So sometimes it's not just glutathione. There are cryo chambers. There are some other drugs which are also given
To make them look fairer?
Not the actresses, generally for somebody, for example, a Michael Jackson, right?
Right.
He had vitiligo. And when the vitiligo started spreading, he was given medication so that the entire skin turned white.
Okay. Fairness is something you don't promote.
I don't
I
promote.
would.
You
yeah,
have seen
yeah,
my,
okay. Right.
everywhere. I'll
It's
tell
just
a
about
patient-
good skin.
It's about good skin. People come to me and I actually end up,
They say we want make us fairer.
it's a thing, right?
It's
in
very
our
common in
country.
India. They
very,
say that
very
to you.
common, right? All the time. And there'll be parents who come and say, he was born fair and now he's become kala. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you have to say, okay, having more melanin is very good.
Yeah.
So melanin protects you. Melanin that we have, our shades of brown, we have more melanin. We have more melanin. It's protecting you from UVA. And that's why
Right.
Indians do not get that much of skin cancer.
Right.
We have to be grateful. We don't age as quickly,
fast,
as faster. As Caucasians, they wrinkle very fast.
Yeah.
We don't. It's one thing to have an even skin tone, and it's another to change color.
Right.
And I am fully against the changing color bit.
Another friend of mine yesterday told me about something called an NAD drip.
Yeah, very
Why is it
rich.
so popular now with certain
It's a
people?
very rich antioxidant, and it's supposed to prevent the breakdown of DNA.
Okay.
Right? Are there enough studies and research? Not yet. But it became very popular in the US and then came down to all the other parts of the world. And supposed to improve your energy levels a lot. And so people are taking it.
It's safe?
Do your blood work and do a cardiac profile and
Okay.
then do the NAD.
Under
and do not
supervision.
just randomly do it. Yes.
Yeah. What's your take on Ozempic and Mounjaro and these like,
GLP-1.
is that what they are?
drugs.
They like help you lose your fat, or I don't know what happens, but
So Mounjaro has been FDA approved.
Right.
US FDA approved for weight loss.
right.
Now, these drugs were essentially drugs which were given in diabetes to
Right.
reduce your blood sugar. And in people who had insulin resistance and they were grossly obese, and then they ended up with metabolic disorders.
You're right.
So it's a very good drug for people who have all of these
Conditions, yeah.
right? And sometimes your weight, you have PCOS, and whatever you do, you don't lose weight,
Right.
right? So in such situations, is it a good drug? Yes, it's a great drug to take.
But definitely
know?
under supervision, right?
You
This is not
cannot-
something you can just take
You
by yourself.
cannot, absolutely. That's where I think people go wrong.
Hmm.
You just buy it from wherever and start taking it to lose weight.
As of now, Mounjaro is safe to
Yes.
take because it's FDA approved, but Ozempic is not.
Ozempic is not FDA approved for weight loss.
A year ago, when I think this whole thing hit the market and everyone was going wild, seeing all these Hollywood celebrities become really skinny, and they're like, "Oh, I started going to the gym," and everyone's like, "No, you're taking Ozempic." All these people in Delhi all start taking it, and like one or two of these women ended up in the ICU.
Oh yeah. It has to be done under supervision, and you know the dose has to be titrated. You know, not everybody can take the same dose. Oh, you're taking 5. Okay, start taking 10 now. No, you can't do that. So you have to have a professional, either an endocrinologist or even a physician who's well qualified,
Yeah.
a GI surgeon or a gastroenterologist, MD physicians, who are constantly dealing with all these metabolic syndromes. I think they are the right people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, guys, don't just like start ordering it and taking it yourself. Okay. Before we go, I do want to ask, what are the best things living in India we can eat for great skin?
I think gooseberries,
Gooseberries.
Yeah.
Okay.
amla.
Amla.
Amla is very, very good for your skin.
Do you take the shot or do you have the fruit?
You have the fruit.
It's better to have the fruit.
You have the fruit.
Okay.
Moringa.
Moringa.
Okay. So when they started saying moringa, I'm a South Indian. We have moringa in all our sambar all the time.
It's just
You know,
like a part
drumstick,
of your-
right?
yeah,
It's
it's-
part of our
yeah.
daily routine. But it has very good anti-aging properties. So these are simple things that you can add. You can have amla, you can have moringa. All the brightly colored fruits and vegetables,
Okay.
all the greens are very rich in antioxidants.
Okay.
So be it a palak or a methi or a papaya, pomegranates, these are all very, very good for your skin because they will break down the free radicals and, so to say, the toxins, break them down and help in the process of just keeping your collagen under check and delay the process of aging.
Right.
Not just for skin and hair, but also internally.
Right. Right.
So these are good. They're very good. High fiber.
So again, fruits and
Yeah,
vegetables.
fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables. All the seeds.
All the seeds. Pumpkin,
pumpkin,
sunflower.
yeah. Very, very, yeah.
Flax
Sunflower,
seeds.
flax seeds, sunscreen, chia seeds. Very good antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids. Right.
What about for vegetarians?
Then-
Because protein is so important.
Sprouts, the
Sprouts.
healthiest. People who can manage tofu, mushrooms. Pea has a lot of protein. You see, you get a lot of pea protein powders these days. And then, of course, yogurt, Greek yogurt. Make yogurt at home. I do that myself. Don't buy it from outside.
Yeah.
Make it at home, very rich. That's the only dairy that I consume. I don't have milk. But that's very, very healthy. Prebiotic, probiotic. Our Indian pickles without preservatives, very rich in probiotic, but without preservatives. So maybe
Right.
you should
Like
make them at
homemade. Homemade,
pickles.
yeah.
Very good. And then all our millets, the nachni, jawar, bajra. So you can do all this and you don't need to really go and say, okay, I need an avocado. Not everybody
Right.
can afford an
Whatever you
avocado.
find,
also.
I mean, these are all like easily found in India.
easily
They're
found.
in our diet anyway,
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah.
Lime and lemon.
Squeeze lemon on everything.
Yeah.
I squeeze on
Yeah.
everything my daughter eats. I squeeze lemon.
Yeah, it's very,
No,
very
she
healthy.
just loves it,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't apply it on your skin, but
You shouldn't
Yeah.
apply lemon on your skin.
don't apply lemon on your
Because
skin.
people
That's-
do put lemon in face masks. That's not good.
So maybe a drop of it is okay.
Yeah.
I've seen people cut and then just apply it like
Why?
that.
What does that do?
Changes the pH of your skin, makes it more alkaline, And then you have a barrier damage, a skin barrier damage. So you may
Oh.
have irritation and then hyperpigmentation. Also, when you're
Oh.
applying vitamin C directly, that's vitamin C directly, it's a photosensitive agent. That means when you expose it to light, it turns dark. Which is why, again, coming to a vitamin C serum, if you use L-ascorbic acid in the morning without a sunscreen on top of it, a lot of people complain that skin is turning darker
Oh.
because it's photosensitizing.
So on top of vitamin C, you always need a something,
Always
a layer, a
sunscreen.
sunscreen or something.
Always a sunscreen.
Okay, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're
I feel like this has been a master class.
Yeah.
I have so much information to absorb that I probably have to go watch this episode like by segment and like
Oh.
take notes. Like, really, thank you for this master class. It
Thank
was
you.
amazing.
Thank
And
you.
guys, and thank you so much for this book.
My pleasure.
Everything I asked is in this book,
I think.
almost.
I'll give you another one also, the previous one called The Skin Rules.
Right.
And that has more info.
Yeah.
This is more Instagramish because
Okay.
what happened during COVID was, I was doing a lot of lives and people were
Yeah.
asking a lot of questions. That's when my editor from Penguin called me and she said, why not do a third book?
Yeah.
I said, I don't have the time. And I think I've put everything in my first two
Yeah.
books. She said, no, but you can just do Q&A. And so that's how all the Instagram questions are put into this.
Oh, that's so interesting. So this is like the frequently asked questions.
Yes.
This will be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a
Pleasure.
pleasure. Thank you. So today I'm wearing this really cute jewelry by a brand called Birel and this outfit by Mushroom on Toast.